If you want to buy a home using the proceeds from the sale of your current house to pay for the next house, then setting up a line of credit against your current house, aka a HELOC or home equity line of credit, might be the best option for you. Most banks will offer you up to 80% of your current home's appraised value, minus any other mortgages or loans that you have against your current property. So if you've already met with a real estate agent and determined what your house is worth, and that number is enough to cover the down payment and closing costs on the next one, then this is going to be for you. If it's a significant amount of money and yet you still don't think it's going to be enough to cover all of the down payment, then you want to keep watching because this may still work. I'm going to go over a few different examples before this video is over. So keep in mind, closing on the HELOC takes almost as long as closing on the mortgage. The good news, however, with a HELOC as opposed to a mortgage is that unlike the mortgage, you can start the process on the HELOC way before you find the house, since this is a line of credit attached to your current house, not on the next one. So you can get started right away. And since it's a line of credit, it's not a loan, you don't have to worry about making any payments, paying back any of that money until after you've actually pulled the money out from the line of credit. So it's just like a credit card with a zero balance. You don't start paying on it until you use it and have a balance to pay off. And that's not going to happen until you close on the next home. So here's an example. Let's say your current house is worth $380,000 and you owe $180,000 on the current mortgage. That means you have $120,000 in equity. Now, the bank's not going to loan you the whole $120,000. They're going to do an appraisal. And let's just say that the house appraises at $300,000, just like you thought it would. The bank is going to be willing to loan you up to 80% of that $300,000. In this case, that would be $240,000. Now, you already owe $180,000 on your current mortgage. So you can either take the whole $240,000 and pay off the $180,000, which is going to leave you with $60,000 left, which I wouldn't do if the interest rate on the HELOC is higher than what it is on your existing mortgage. And let's just assume right now that it is. You just open up the line of credit and only take the $60,000. Keep the existing mortgage in place, right? Now, you can use that $60,000 to cover all the closing costs and the down payment on the next house like we talked about, or you could use a part of it to fix up your current house, part of it for the down payment and the closing house on the next house, or maybe even pay a little bit for everything, fix up the new house too. We've had a lot of people that have used the money from their HELOC even to pay off cars or high interest credit cards, which lowers their debt to income ratio, which does all kinds of things when you're applying for a new mortgage. A great lender is going to bring up these kind of solutions when they're going over your debt to income ratio, your credit reports, and all these other numbers with you. Now here's another potential scenario. If you have some savings, you could add that to the money that you're pulling from the HELOC to put towards your buying and the selling. So let's say you sell your house for $300,000 minus, let's just say $25,000 in closing costs. That's going to leave you with about $275,000. You're going to have to pay off the $180,000 mortgage plus the $60,000 that you pulled from the HELOC. Now, that's still going to leave you about $35,000 left to replenish your savings or invest in the new house or do a recast and put that additional money towards the principal balance on the new house, which you've already closed on. You can still go back and lower that monthly payment. I did another video on recast recently. You can check that out on YouTube. That's an overview of how you can use a HELOC to buy your next home. So leave me a comment. Let me know if you think that doing it this way is a good way or a bad way to pay for your next house.